That. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to all our students, graduates, and young professionals joining us today. On behalf of JobWork, I'd like to thank each one of you for taking out time to be a part of today's webinar, From Campus to Career Decoding India's Job Market for Freshers. If you're in final year of college or recently graduated or preparing to enter a workforce, today's session is for you. Let's begin with a simple reality check first. The job market has changed more than in the last 3 years than it has changed in the last decade. Today's companies are not just hiring degrees, they are hiring skills. Recruiters are not only looking at your CGPA, they want to know what you have built, what you have learned outside of your classroom, how you solve problems, whether you are ready to adapt to a rapidly changing workplace. And most of all, AI has become a part of our everyday role. Recruiters are using ATS systems to shortlist candidates and resumes before they even reach a hiring manager. And new roles are emerging every day. For students, all of this I understand can feel a bit overwhelming. Questions like, will AI replace my job? Does my college still matter? Why am I not getting interview calls? What makes a recruiter choose one resume over another? These are some questions every fresher is asking today. And that's exactly why we have organized this session to separate myths from reality and give you practical advice that you can start applying immediately. At JobWork, we believe education does not end in the classroom. It extends to building the skills, confidence, career readiness that is needed in today's time. Our speaker today is Tamanna, a career and communication coach who has helped 1,000 plus students with their resumes and 2,000 students with their interview and speaking skills. She has cleared some of India's well known competitive exams herself. IBPS clerk, IBPS PO, and the Intelligence Bureau exam. So she knows firsthand what it takes to break into the job market. She's guided countless candidates through every stage of hiring process. She's recognized as top person, one person creator on TopMate. I'm sure today's discussion will leave you with actionable strategies to improve your employability and prepare you for a successful career. And first of all, thank you, Tamanna, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Vanchika, for the lovely introduction. A great thank you to the entire team. You guys are doing a fabulous job.
Thank you. Thank you. We try our best. Um, so, before we dive in today's discussion, I'd love to hear from all of the audience that's here. What's one biggest challenge you're facing currently in your job search? Maybe you can write it in the chat box and we'll analyze this question later. So, Tamanna, let's begin. Let's
Yeah.
begin with the biggest question on everyone's mind right now. There's a perception that jobs are disappearing and competition is the only thing that is increasing with time. From a recruiter's career coach perspective, what is the reality of the job market for freshers in 2026?
Firstly, I do not agree with the thing that jobs are disappearing. They are not, because I think there has been a 30% increase in the number of jobs that have increased. Although I can tell you the hiring process has changed. Not changed, basically, जैसे जैसे हम आगे बढ़ रहे हैं, AI is being integrated into a lot of things. So that's how it is being modified, is the word that I am going to use. है ना? That if you think about it, पहले कंपनीज कैसे हायर करती थी कि on the basis of your CGPA, on the basis of your college. But in today's time, skills matter way more than your GPA. If you have good skills, good projects, good certifications, you are going to beat anybody who comes from a well known institution. That's one thing. Second, the jobs available for freshers in the white collar, the white collar market and the other markets as well, AIML, project management, data analytics, all of this have increased. And even the government, if you think about the government, you go to my page, I put videos almost every single day about government hirings. So they have also increased in the long run.
Very true, very true. Completely agreed. So, my next question would be companies today do receive thousands of applications for one single opening. That's the truth we cannot overlook. So, what are the first three things anybody will notice while shortlisting a candidate? I'm sure that you have seen and screened a lot of candidates' resumes. What are the first three things a candidate should portray so that a recruiter or any career coach notices them?
Okay, so firstly, I 100% agree with what you just said. Companies are receiving a lot of applications for now, है ना? So there's one thing that you need to keep in mind is that ATS softwares are being implemented in almost every single company. अगर कोई ऐसी कंपनी है जो बहुत वेल नोन है, it is like a large company, a public sector company, like a big company, a well known brand. तो उस केस में तो in majority of the cases you will definitely find ATS software is implemented, right? That's one thing. So in order to surpass them, some things in we basically make our students, our clients, keep certain things in their resumes इस तरीके से कि ATS को भी वो पार्स कर जाए, and then the recruiter also is impressed with whatever they have put in their resumes. We are definitely going to discuss that in, I think, the coming questions if they want to, because those are some really important things.
Right, of course, of course. I totally agree to this. So, one thing that I personally believe that CGPA is a part of your resume, a part of your portfolio, but it's not everything about the resume. So, what do you think about that? What matters more than marks during recruitment?
Okay. So, what I have seen in my years of experience is that CGPA is important, but not, but if you look at 5 years before, like if you talk about 2020, 2021, आपको पता चलेगा CGPA सच में उस टाइम पे important था. But now we are progressing. So if you think about it, CGPA से बहुत ज़्यादा important चीज़ है हमारे लिए, building our skills, building up projects, doing good courseworks, getting good certifications. As freshers, I always advise my clients to build as much experience, as much certifications, do as many projects as possible. क्योंकि a good project story will anytime, any day beat 5 bullet points in your resume if you think about it. So that's one thing. And just work a lot on your communication skills, on a lot of soft skills as well, adaptability, agility. In सब पे काम करके I think anytime, any day we can surpass a good candidate with a good CGPA.
For sure, definitely agreed. So I have heard a lot of students saying कि मेरे पास तो internship experience है ही नहीं, मैं कैसे apply करूँ job में? So do you think like how you emphasized on having certifications? So maybe can projects and certifications, hackathons, volunteering, freelance work, can they compensate for the lack of internships?
आपने जैसे जैसे एवरी वर्ड द नेम यू टुक ना, वैसे वैसे माय डोपामिन वाज इंक्रीजिंग. एवरी सिंगल थिंग इज वेरी ट्रू. आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. ऑल दीज थिंग्स दैट यू डू इन योर कॉलेज, these hackathons, MUNs, everything, those form the core value that you put in your resume. A lot of times freshers come to me for their resumes. बहुत सारे freshers का I think out of 2,000 plus तो freshers ही होंगे, because a lot of times freshers have a lot of questions कि confused state में रहते हैं वो. And I completely agree, because when I was a fresher I was in the same state as you. मैं resume के मामले में बहुत confused रहती थी, and I used to have a lot of questions. I think one thing, before I respond to what you said, one thing that I feel is that colleges are not very nicely teaching students how to make good resumes, और हाउ टू कम्युनिकेट इन अ वे कि वो इंटरव्यूअर्स से बात कर पाए, उस लेवल के आंसर्स दे पाए. सो आई थिंक this is something that our education system lacks एंड इट इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग्स दैट अभी के जमाने में आपको आनी चाहिए है. इज वाई I emphasize a lot on how to make a resume, on how to communicate, how to give interviews, how to answer to questions, everything. Okay, talking about these things that you mentioned, आप जब अपने कॉलेज में होते हो, you're basically in your prime. Okay, so don't waste your time. Honestly मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि घूमना, एक्सप्लोरिंग इज ऑल्सो वन थिंग विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. क्योंकि हम इससे काफी चीजें सीखते हैं. हम जब घूमते हैं, वी गो आउट विद आवर फ्रेंड्स, दैट्स a kind of networking that we are doing. That's also very important. Please do not compromise on that. But साथ में make sure to have gain good experience with participating in almost all events that come to you, है ना. जो अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है, जस्ट ग्रैब इट. उसमें पार्टिसिपेट करो. जहां से हो सकता है सर्टिफिकेट्स मिल रहे हो, सर्टिफिकेशंस को ग्रैब करो. Because in a resume of a fresher, if you don't have any experience, all things that we can put about are your achievements, your projects. All these things are something that we can actually revolve around. So do not just compromise on that.
Of course, totally agreed. I think it's like a spectrum. Everything kind of helps you build your personality, like your
Exactly.
personal experiences, and so does like attending a seminar. Like I remember back in our days, it was very nobody wanted to attend a seminar because they didn't see merit in that. But now that I personally have grown, I've worked so much. Now I realize that it is equally important to attend those, have it on your resume. It definitely shines.
It shines a lot. And I think जब हम इवेंट्स करते हैं, जब हम इवेंट्स में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, लाइक आई टेल यू माई स्टोरी. आई हैव ऑलवेज बीन एन एंथू कटलेट. जो अपॉर्चुनिटी मेरे पास आई, आई हैव ऑलवेज ग्रैब्ड इट बैक इन माई कॉलेज डेज. And then I used to grab it. I used to actually participate, and I participated so much कि second year में I got promoted to the post of a director of the entire club. And because I was so involved into it, I used to host events जहाँ पे 700-800 लोग आते थे, and I used to love it. पहली बार हमेशा you will feel very scared. This is very common. But eventually, once you start getting a hold of it, it gets very easy from there. So I think this is something you
Yes.
should definitely do.
I completely agree. Completely agree. So, we have spoken about what recruiters look for, what career coaches, see in your portfolio. But before recruiters evaluate your skills, they first evaluate your resume.
Very true.
Let's spend some time discussing that. So I'd want to ask you because a lot of people are confused about what applicant tracking system ATS is and what or maybe why should every student understand how it works.
सबसे पहली चीज तो I genuinely wanted to talk about it. An applicant tracking system is basically an AI software जो companies लगाती हैं. तो think of it as suppose you are there, suppose anybody, you guys, कोई भी ले लो. आप लोग अगर एक ऐसे hiring procedure में है where you are receiving 1,000 applications, more than 1,000 applications, 2,000 applications every single day. सो इफ यू थिंक अबाउट इट इन द लॉन्ग रन, ये आपके लिए बहुत टायरिंग हो जाता है. ऑल्दो ऐसा बोला जाता है, एंड आई हैव आल्सो टॉक्ड टू लॉट ऑफ रिक्रूटर्स रिगार्डिंग इट, दे ऑलवेज से कि हम लोग सच में भी 6 से 10 सेकंड ही स्पेंड करते हैं पर रेज्यूमे. सो इफ यू थिंक अबाउट इट, यू विल अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज इट दैट आई एम ट्राइंग टू टेल यू. कि इट इज गोइंग टू बी वेरी टायरिंग फॉर यू अगर आपको एक दिन में 800, 1,000, मोर देन 1,000 एप्लीकेशंस की स्क्रीनिंग करनी पड़े. So there's this software which has been implanted in the between. So there's this one that this is you, this is the recruiter, और ये सॉफ्टवेयर बीच में रहता है. आपका रेज्यूमे यहाँ से जैसे ही जाता है, बिफोर द रिक्रूटर इवन सीज इट, इट रीचेस द एटीएस सॉफ्टवेयर. वो सबसे पहले उसको देखता है, उसको इम्पार्स करता है, उसको फिल्टर आउट करता है. And then it is assumed that if the score is above 80 is when it goes to the recruiter. और अगर 80 या 75 से नीचे होता है, हर कंपनी का अपना अपना रहता है, then it does not even reach the recruiter. वो वहीं से डंप हो जाता है। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि बिकॉज एवरीबडी इज ऑलरेडी वर्किंग सो मच विद एआई मॉडल्स नाउ, इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू मेक योर रेज्यूमे एटीएस फ्रेंडली। और इसको ना बहुत बड़ा हैवक बना के रखा है इंस्टाग्राम और सोशल मीडिया ने कि ओ माय गॉड एटीएस एटीएस। नो, इट इज अ वेरी इजी थिंग टू इम्प्लीमेंट। बस बस तो नहीं, बट हाँ ऐसे पांच छह चीजें रहती हैं। वंस यू वर्क ऑन दैट, once you know implement those in your resume, I can tell you कि एटीएस तो उसको रिजेक्ट नहीं ही करेगा।
Oh wow, lovely. So you were saying कि कुछ resumes hiring managers के पास पहुंचते ही नहीं हैं.
नहीं है।
And then students or freshers they wonder कि हुआ क्या मेरी application के साथ.
Exactly. Because I have had resumes, I have had students and working professionals and graduates and even people with good experience send me their resumes और मैं देखकर ऐसी थी कि it is not at all ATS compatible. आई थिंक एक चीज जो है कि a lot of, I mean, I have this one question from the public, from the audience. How many of you have used Canva for your resumes?
Right, I'm sure many,
Many,
many, because
many.
I remember when I was a fresher, that was the
Same.
only thing I knew of. And we had like so rainbowy type, CVs in which we put pictures, we put different fonts, we put
I think in
uh,
our times, इतना मैटर नहीं करता था because ATS was not at all there. एक आध
there,
कंपनी
of
यूज
course.
करती होगी, राइट? बट अभी ऐसा है कि obviously because the companies
Please
also
vote
have
was
to
come.
progress is why they have started implementing these things in their their entire system. तो if you think about it, अभी तो it's in today's world it's very important, जैसे कि Canva है, तो do not use any templates from Canva. I would not suggest, personally I would not suggest, क्योंकि Canva पे अगर अपन साइड में देखें तो ATS does not read anything which is like a box kind of thing. तो ATS, बल्कि आई थिंक ATS वाला resume बनाना is way simpler than the resumes that we make
In
elsewhere.
Canva.
It is very simple. Word doc पे बना लो. If you want to make it somewhere else, make it somewhere else. Not an issue. But the formatting is so simple कि आपको उतना स्ट्रेस लेने की जरूरत ही नहीं है.
So, which brings me to my next question. What are the biggest mistakes students make while creating their resumes?
So one of the biggest mistake that they do is a lot of resumes lack a professional summary. So, for example, if you have to screen something for say 6 to 8 seconds, 10 seconds, chalo आधा minute ले लो. Professional summary is the first thing that any recruiter is going to read. I always tell my students it is your prime estate, it is prime real estate. इसको तुम लोग oversee मत करो. And it's very easy to write. Only 3 4 lines about yourself, about your career, but make it very engaging. उसको अच्छे से लिखो. मतलब ऐसा होना चाहिए कि कोई थर्ड पर्सन देख के बोले कि नहीं इसको अंदर, वी वांट दिस कैंडिडेट, इतना अपीलिंग उसको बनाओ. सो प्रोफेशनल समरी इज वन थिंग दैट अ लॉट ऑफ रेज्यूमेस लैक एंड आई थिंक इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सेकेंड इज टाइटल. जिस भी रोल के लिए आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो उस रोल का, जो जिसके लिए आप अप्लाई कर रहे हो, पुट इट एज योर टाइटल. Third is your location. A lot of candidates miss writing their location, mentioning their location in their resume, which is again very important. Agar, for example, you belong to Delhi and you are ready to relocate, mention Delhi, comma, ready to relocate. Okay, so that is something that you should do. And yes, one more thing. A lot of people do not mention the right numbers in their resumes. अपने resumes को impactful बनाओ. ओके, मेंशन एटलीस्ट 5 numbers. पूरे resume के bullet points में एटलीस्ट 5 numbers are supposed to be there. है ना? कोई भी कैसे भी लिख दो. इफ यू वांट राइट एस्टिमेटेड impacts, if you want like direct numbers की, basically anything that is impactful is acceptable.
Of course, it shows you're aware. You're
Exactly.
aware of the numbers, you're aware of what has happened, you're aware of the ROI in a way.
Exactly.
Right. So, my next question would be okay, so these are something things that you should include it in your
Yeah.
resume. What are the things that you should totally avoid?
totally avoid. I think avoiding के केस में avoid using Canva templates. That's one thing. Second, don't, I think, unless and until you're like a good designer or a marketer or a website designer and you are supposed to make a portfolio. For example, you already know कि तुम्हारे में ATS का कोई खेल ही नहीं है. Your resume is directly reaching the recruiter's eye. You are sure about it. You're a marketer, you're a designer, and you know that this is going to happen. Go for a good template. ठीक है तो फिर ये over templates they look nice, but in the case of people who are submitting their applications on a regular basis, they come from the corporate, they're doing it for the corporate roles, for the government roles, which do not involve designing or marketing at all. I would suggest include only, so, just chuck on these and include like a fresh template. And one
Right.
more thing to avoid is cluttering your resume. Do not clutter it. Third is, if you are a fresher, make sure and try to put it in one page. अगर ज्यादा लंबा होगा ना तो nobody, if I have so many resumes in front of me, why would I want to go to the second page? है ना, मतलब मेरे को ऐसा लगेगा ना कि एक ही पेज में मैं कर दूं. आई हैव सीन अ लॉट ऑफ फ्रेशर्स कम टू मी एंड देयर, मतलब उनके पास एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, दे डोंट हैव एक्सपीरियंस, दे हैव अचीवमेंट्स, दे हैव सर्टिफिकेशंस, दे हैव गुड प्रोजेक्ट्स, एंड द resume somehow is 2 pages long. If you have such less to show it nicely confined in a single page. Do that. It's very important. Do not make it a 2 page long thing or a 3 page long thing. That's literally a CV. Okay, and CVs are not for us unless and until it is mentioned. Okay, and then I think these are three things that you should avoid. And yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, lovely. So for the freshers, for the students here, can you segregate it to, can you tell the ideal length of a CV and a resume? And can you tell what is the segregation between a CV and a resume?
Okay, so CV is a curriculum vitae, if you know, and then there's resume. So, firstly, I'm going to differentiate them so that it gets easier for us to understand the actual difference between two. तो CV क्या होता है? If you come from a tech background or a biology background or any background which involves big courses or anything like that, उस केस में, रिसर्चर्स के केस में, साइंटिस्ट के केस में, एनालिटिक्स के केस में हमको CV चाहिए रहता है, बिकॉज वी एक्चुअली नीड टू नो कि आपने कौन कौन से प्रोजेक्ट्स करे हैं इन द लॉन्ग रन, आपने उन प्रोजेक्ट्स में क्या करा है. बेसिकली देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डिटेलिंग. तो करिकुलम वाइटे इज more than 3 pages long. It can be three, it can be four, it can be five, it can be six, seven, as many pages as possible, depending on the experience of the individual. When I talk about a resume is basically like a summary of your CV. है ना, सीवी जैसे बहुत लॉन्ग फॉर्म है ना, उसका कट शॉर्ट वर्जन इज योर रेज्यूमे, एंड इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. है ना, तो रेज्यूमे को हम जितना कन्फाइंड रखें, जितना टू द पॉइंट रखें, उतना अच्छा है. बेसिकली आई थिंक दिस इज द वन ऑफ द बेस्ट थिंग्स दैट यू कैन डू. आपको यू गेटिंग यू गेटिंग 1 page to put the best of your experience in your best words. Use it. है ना, and talking about freshers, I think it is very important for you guys to keep your resume confined to 1 page. If you do not have like good experience, a lot of experience, don't keep it longer than a 1 page. And talking about the people who come from biology background and tech background, अगर आपके पास बहुत सारे ऐसे projects हैं, ऐसा experience है that needs to be highlighted, है ना, और हर बुलेट पॉइंट जो है वो लंबा जा रहा है, इन दोज केसेस इट इज ओके टू extend to 2 pages. But in the rest of the cases, I would personally not suggest you guys to take it for more than 1 page.
Very well explained. I think that was one of the best explanations. I hope it helped the public out there. So I think one of the key takeaways every student should remember right now, a resume is not about making it look attractive. It should be readable by both
Right.
technology and your recruiter. So, coming to a very interesting segment here, AI,
Hmm.
the thing, the word on everybody's mouth right now. So, what AI skills should every fresher possess, regardless of their field of study?
Okay, so when I talk about AI, wait, Vachika, can you repeat? I think there was a glitch.
Oh, am I audible now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes, I wanted to ask you what AI skills, as basic, should every fresher possess, irrespective of their field of study?
I think one of the most basic skills that every fresher should have has to be prompt engineering. अगर मैं इसको आपके लिए बहुत simple words में highlight करूँ, it is putting relatable and putting relevant prompts into the AI model जिससे वो काम करे. अब जैसे कि हम सब, I think all of us, if you guys can raise hands, raise if possible. I think almost all of us use AI on a regular basis, right? आप लोग चैट जीपीटी यूज करते हो तो रेज हैंड करो, फिर यूज क्लॉड, raise your hands if you use Gemini, raise your hands if you use LLMs, raise your hand. So basically, the point right now here is that a lot of us use AI on a regular basis, right? पर मेरा AI जो काम करेगा is going to be really different from how your works, right? That's one thing. तो इसका जो key takeaway है वो ये है कि how I put prompts into my model is pretty different from how you do in yours. तो एआई ना पूरा ऑटो पायलट मोड पे नहीं चलता, इट्स लाइक मोर लाइक अ को पायलट मोड. मैं जैसे प्रॉम्प्ट्स दूंगी वो वैसे आउटपुट्स देगा. So that's one of the most important things. Prompt engineering, giving AI relevant prompts to the level that it actually gets done with the work in the fastest time. मुझे बार बार prompts नहीं देना पड़े, एक दो prompts में ही काम हो जाए. This is one of the best skills that freshers can work with. Then comes your other things, how to, and I feel this is like an opportunity only, jam with it. जैसा जैसा आ रहा है खुद को उसके साथ ढालते चले जाओ. Because coming in the coming years, if you think about it, AI is going to take over a lot of jobs in a lot of places. So, as a recruiter or anybody, if you talk to anybody, I have talked personally to a lot of recruiters, वो लोग एक ही चीज बोलते हैं. A person with relevant experience, good relevant experience, along who knows AI, will anytime, any day surpass an individual जिसके पास भले ही बहुत अच्छा CGPA हो या experience हो. तो anybody who knows basic AI, basic AI things like prompt engineering and all of that, वो हमेशा इस बंदे को surpass ही करेगा. So I think that's one of the most important key skills that you should learn.
I think that's the way to go. And I've seen a lot of students just using AI as not even a support function, as if their life depends on it. Sometimes what they do is they'll just write, make a good CV. This is my experience. So, is that a good thing? Will that thing take them anywhere? Will it pass the ATS? Do they need to put numbers on their own? What's your take on this?
पहली चीज तो आई थिंक catering to the first part of the question, I have in my years of experience also seen students doing this कि ये लोग क्या करते हैं कि they use AI as if their life depends on it, and this is something which I am strongly against. आपको अगर AI यूज करना है तो don't make yourself dependent on it, कि कल को वो नहीं हो तो you are just gone. No, don't do that. I think one thing that you can do is actually फ्रेम आइडियाज ऑन योर ओन, नहीं तो आपकी थिंकिंग कैपेसिटी पूरी चली जाएगी. इफ यू बिकम सो डिपेंडेंट ऑन द एआई मॉडल, योर कैपेसिटी टू थिंक, टू फ्रेम आइडियाज, एनीथिंग, आइडिएशन, एवरीथिंग, इट विल गो इन टू वेन. द ओनली थिंग, द बेस्ट वे आउट इज आप आइडियाज खुद बनाओ. And in order to polish what you have written, in order to polish your ideas, you use the AI model. That is something that we do on a regular basis as well. Ideation खुद करेंगे, we do everything on our own, but when it comes to polishing, putting one two words here, putting keywords, then we use AI. catering to the second part of the question, which was कि सीवी हम पूरा एआई से बनवा लेते हैं. We have seen this on a very regular basis, trust me. And it is so detectable. It is so easily detectable. I don't know how to put it forth for the audience. It is very easily detectable. जब हमारा पूरा सीवी ही कोई एआई एजेंट बना देता है ना, तो हम लोग तो देखते से ही समझ जाते हैं. अब हम लोग तो देखते से, अगर हम लोग देखते से समझ जा रहे हैं, तो जो एचआर एवरीडे बेसिस पे हजारों एप्लीकेशंस देख रहे हैं, वो तो एक सेकंड में समझ जाएंगे. दे वोंट टेक एनी टाइम इन आइडेंटिफाइंग कि ये एआई से बना है. तो आई थिंक दैट इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग्स टू कीप इन माइंड. हमेशा एआई से पूरा काम नहीं करना चाहिए. यू शुड यूज योर ओन ब्रेन्स. यू हैव बीन गिवन योर ब्रेन फॉर अ रीजन. यूज इट. और अगर नहीं हो पा रहा है, यूट्यूब पे वीडियोस देखो. वॉच माई चैनल इफ यू वांट टू. we and there are a lot of other content creators as well who create a lot of content around resumes and interviews and everything. Watch that और खुद से बनाओ. And if you want to polish it, give it to the give it to the
Yes,
AI.
of course.
हाँ, और एक
I've
चीज.
seen I've seen students. So there's sentence I studied from, and then AI gives like brackets insert
Yeah.
your university, and they don't even have the time to edit that. And I've received so many resumes to just see, and I'm shocked that you just don't oversee what's it's your identity. I mean, that's the first thing any recruiter would see, and you have not seen it yourself.
वेरी ट्रू, वेरी ट्रू. बिकॉज आई थिंक, एंड और अगर आप पूरा एआई से लिखवा लेते हो, sorry, a lot of times what AI model or AI models do is वो लोग पूरा मीनिंग ही चेंज कर देते हैं. मतलब there was this one client of mine, she was a student and she had written 3+ months of experience, but she might have given it to the AI model, maybe chat GPT ही होगा. And then chat GPT, modified it to 3+ years of experience. She had come
Right.
to me not for her resume training, for her interview training के लिए वो आई थी. And that's when she shared it with me. She shared her resume. तो I called her. I was like, you told me कि 3 months plus का experience है, but in your resume it's written 3 years plus. She said, what? मैंने बोला, yeah, it's written 3+ years. Then she checked it. She called me again. She said, Tamanna, I am gone. I submitted this resume in the company and now I don't know what to do. So if you're doing, this is just one example that one of from what one of the things that I've been through and I've actually experienced. तो what I feel is कि वो कहते हैं ना कि नकल करो but use your brains. And honestly, you shouldn't even do that. आप खुद से बनाओ और जो जॉब कीवर्ड्स मिसिंग है जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन में, उसके लिए आप एआई की हेल्प ले लो. रेस्ट डोंट टेक.
Of course, of course. There, you can use ChatGPT to your advantage in terms of changing words here and there,
Exactly,
putting words,
exactly.
impactful words. I'm pretty sure students or freshers do not know कि impactful words क्या होते हैं. You can always interchange that, but to depend heavily on a software for showcasing your skills to somebody when you yourself don't even know. So, and
Very.
not even going through it once, that's something
That's
that I
something
would never
exactly.
recommend.
Exactly. Never ever.
That's like murdering yourself in
Exactly.
or rather your image in front of someone.
Very true. Very true.
Okay. Talking about image and profile building, my next question to you would be how important is LinkedIn in today's hiring ecosystem, and what are some ways students can build a strong profile there?
Okay, so LinkedIn optimization is one of our services, and I think I keep saying it out loud to everybody. Digital presence in today's world is very important. लोग इस चीज को ध्यान से लेते ही नहीं है. अगर आपकी डिजिटल प्रेजेंस स्ट्रॉन्ग है, you already have a good impact on the recruiter and everybody around you. If not around you, on the recruiter and everybody who you are going to meet in your, as colleagues, as fellow employees. So if you think about it in the long run, you will understand what is it that I'm trying to say. I'm not saying post every day on LinkedIn, no. Unless and until you come from a big brand that you are willing to ace. Don't post every day, but weekly one post is what we always recommend to all our clients and students. It is very important. Do it. Start doing it. And a lot of times पता है ऐसा भी होता है कि opportunities start coming to you through LinkedIn. Matlab, this happens very less, I agree. But if you're somebody who has like a good following on LinkedIn, you have good connections on LinkedIn, you have had like a good presence over there, I am literally telling it to you. You can write it down on a paper. There will come a time when employers will reach out to you, jobs ke saath. And I can tell you that from my own experience. So when I started, I was doing IBPS and everything, but right after that, I started posting on LinkedIn almost on a regular basis. Every day I was posting. So, and then I also started my page, and touchwood by God's grace, things were going pretty well. So there had come a time when recruiters started reaching out to me. Ki Tamanna, can you work with us as HR manager or as somebody who is in the resource management team, anything like that. So that is something that happens जब आप Instagram पे भी content create करते हो या कहीं पे भी करते हो. You start getting collaborations, they start paying you, and then you start getting people actually approaching you with opportunities that you did not even think were possible. तो आई थिंक अ डिजिटल फुटप्रिंट सिर्फ इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है कि रिक्रूटर्स वो देखेंगे. इट इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर पीपल टू नो व्हाट यू आर, बिकॉज आपके सिर्फ रेज्यूमे से हम सिर्फ उतना पढ़ पाएंगे जितना आप हमको पढ़ाओगे. लिंक्डइन पे हमको आपकी एक पर्सनालिटी चेक मिल जाता है ना. एंड अ लॉट ऑफ मेजोरिटी ऑफ द रिक्रूटर्स, इफ दे लाइक योर प्रोफाइल, दे विल ऑलवेज विजिट योर लिंक्डइन. And this is something that I tell everybody. The LinkedIn URL is in your resume for a reason. वो ऐसे ही नहीं डाला
Of
गया.
course.
वी हैव पुट इट देयर बिकॉज द रिक्रूटर्स आर गोइंग टू चेक इट आउट. तो ये जो प्रोफाइल्स होती है ना जिनमें पिक्चर नहीं होता, पीछे कुछ नहीं है, मतलब द कवर इमेज इज एम्प्टी. कवर इज इमेज ऑल्दो इज नॉट दैट नेसेसरी, आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग. द हेडलाइन इज एम्प्टी, या हेडलाइन में लिखा हुआ है सीकिंग अपॉर्चुनिटीज इन दिस रोल, or the about section is not good, no post.
Our
Those are
education is not there. Right, of
exactly.
course.
Those are some big red flags that recruiters see and notice. तो ऐसा लगता है कि that the candidate does not even have the relevant time to update their LinkedIn accounts. तो फिर तुमने resume में डाला क्यों? That's something that I say. Don't put it in your resume if it is not updated. But I would say update it and put it in your resume.
I think anybody can put 30 minutes in a week's time to, update it, of course, of
Not
course.
even 30. What it takes only 10 minutes. That's all.
Right, of course. Completely agreed. I think it's a way to be seen. Even
Ex-
if you don't have a premium, if you just have LinkedIn, there are these notifications that come, right? X person saw your profile, Y
Yes,
person saw your, that means somebody is at least watching your profile. So it's
right.
good ROI in terms of if you're updating it regularly, maybe in a week, in 10 days, it's good. Something is better than nothing.
Exactly my point.
Right. So, and maybe that can land you an interview, maybe, you know.
A lot of times
So
it
talk,
does.
right, of course. Yeah, a lot of time it does. I have personally seen it, people reaching out or seeing my profile or giving a random thumbs up here and there, and it kind of boosts your morale, right?
Very true.
So talking about interviews, what are the biggest mistakes candidates make during interviews?
Biggest mistakes. One thing is कि there are particular questions if I cater to. पहला क्वेश्चन जो है टेल मी अबाउट योरसेल्फ, उसमें सबसे बड़ा मिस्टेक ही वो ये करते हैं कि जैसे दैट्स लिटरली समथिंग दैट इज गोइंग टू पेव योर वे फॉर द एंटायर इंटरव्यू. दैट्स योर फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन. अभी तो बहुत सारे इंटरव्यूअर्स ने ये पूछना ही बंद कर दिया है. बट अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स पीपल इंटरव्यूअर्स डू आस्क. तो इस केस में ये लोग क्या करते हैं कि दे स्टार्ट सेइंग आउट वट एवर हैज बीन रिटन इन देयर रेज्यूमे. उसको पूरा रिपीट करने लगते हैं. दैट इज लाइक अ बिग थिंग, अ बिग रेड फ्लैग. डोंट डू इट. सेकेंड इज पोस्चर. I have come across candidates and we train them for interviews. So if you're sitting like this is not acceptable. Don't do that. It looks bad on your personality. अच्छा नहीं लगता. Okay. And then the third thing is when there's this one important question that gets asked. कि, um, for example, a lot of times interviewers purposely ask questions जिनका पता है उनको कि आपको उनका आंसर नहीं पता है. ठीक है. बहुत टेक्निकल क्वेश्चन होगा, आपको कोई कोई चांस ही नहीं है कि आपको उसका आंसर पता हो. तो इन दोज केसेस ऑल्सो कैंडिडेट स्टार्ट ब्लफिंग कि मतलब मन से बनावटी आंसर्स दे स्टार्ट गिविंग. दिस इज समथिंग दैट यू शुड 100% अवॉइड. क्योंकि जब हम ऐसा करते हैं ना, इट गिव्स देम व्हाट कैन यू से, इट गिव्स देम अ थॉट प्रोसेस. उनको ऐसा लगने लगता है कि दीज पीपल दे आर नॉट ऑनेस्ट, है ना. द बेस्ट थिंग इन सच सिचुएशंस इज यू एक्सेप्ट. Okay, ki I'm sorry, I did not go through it, but once I reach home, once I go back, I'll make sure to go through it as and when required, or as per my schedule ways, whatever. This is going to be the first thing that I look at or research first once I go back home. So that's one way to take that question. And the best way is you accept it. Ki okay, I don't know the answer to it. It's okay, it's fine. And chill. They are there to assess you on the basis of your confidence only. क्योंकि उनको आपका एक्सपीरियंस पसंद आया था तब जाकर तो आप इंटरव्यू में आए हो. नहीं तो आप इंटरव्यू में आते ही नहीं. You have been
That's
shortlisted.
totally agreed.
Exactly. You have been shortlisted for a reason. So, this is one of the most important things that a lot of candidates miss out on. And if you ever want to, feel more confident, just think कि I have been shortlisted for a reason. That's how you will regain your confidence.
I think that's the mantra for any, interview.
Exactly, exactly.
Right, of course. I think honesty and being a little street smart, answering questions with honesty, but putting your touch to it, I think it takes you to a very,
Very
it takes you a long way ahead
yeah,
as
I think
compared to other
I
students.
would like to share one particular incident now that it has come up. So, when I went to give my interview, there were a panel of 5 members who were taking it. All of them were like on a pretty good position, and it was my first attempt. And by God's grace, I went to that particular phase interview, and it was my first time. So, they were testing me on my confidence. Though there was this one question, it was so technical, so technical. तो मैंने उनको बोला कि I just said कि I'm sorry, sir. I really don't know the answer to it, but I'll make sure once I go home, that's literally the first thing that I'm gonna go and research on. Then they asked me, then they told me, no, Tamanna, this is something that you should have known. So I was like, I'm so sorry. And then that's how the conversation went. Then they teamed up on, then all of them teamed up on me and they were like testing me. So, right when I was leaving, that's when they told me we were testing you on the basis of your confidence. And you are probably one of the best communicators and the person with the best confidence that we have met so far. So just keep it up. So that's when they told me कि that's how they test me, that's how they test candidates on the basis of their not they are not testing your knowledge क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास knowledge है तब तक तुम यहाँ पे पहुंचे हो. They are testing you only on the basis of the confidence that you have. So I think that's one thing that I carried from that interview and I keep talking about in in my client meetings and everywhere कि कुछ नहीं आता है तो accept करो, that's the best way out.
I think I totally agree to that rather than, of course, bluffing. I think recruiters catch on to it
दे डू
very.
इट बिकॉज आपके फेस एक्सप्रेशंस भी ऐसे बन जाते हैं कि हमको भी अब समझ में आने लग गया है. व्हेन अ कैंडिडेट इज ब्लफिंग, मैं उनको कहती हूँ अरे मैं तो हूँ भी नहीं इंटरव्यूअर, व्हाई आर यू ब्लफिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी. दे आर लाइक नो, वी आर रियली स्कैर्ड ऑफ एडमिटिंग दैट. मैंने बोला वी आर ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग्स बाय द एंड ऑफ द डे. अगर आपने वो पढ़ा भी और आप भूल जा रहे हो, इट्स ओके. एंड द इंटरव्यूअर्स नो कि आप नर्वस हो and you are going to be nervous. So by default, you're going to end up forgetting some or the other things here and there. It is very common. It is literally very common. Acceptance is key. You accept कि भाई ये तो बहुत common है. Don't make a big issue out of it. अपन एआई बॉट्स नहीं है कि हमको सब याद रहे, हमको हर एक टेक्निकलिटी याद रहे। नो, इट्स ओके, भूल गए, नर्वस थे, इट्स फाइन, डोंट मेक अ बिग इशू आउट ऑफ इट।
Agreed. I think recruiters are not looking for a know-it-all sort of a person.
एग्जैक्टली,
Rather, if you're shivering and how you perform and while shivering is what really matters.
एग्जैक्टली, एग्जैक्टली, क्योंकि आई वुड एज अ पर्सन एनी टाइम एनी डे प्रेफर anybody who has, if I am recruiting, I would anytime any day prefer somebody who has, for example, two people. One is a know-it-all who knows everything. The other person is willing to learn if they don't know it. Their willingness to learn, their willingness to adapt to certain things, their willingness of their agility, their, the willingness, their honesty, their willingness to accept when they are wrong. This is the kind of person that all the companies are looking and hiring for at the moment. Not somebody who is boasting, who is bluffing, who is like a know-it-all. No, it's fine. You don't know, it's okay.
Very true. That brings me to my second last question. That would be, what would be your 90-day roadmap to becoming job ready before graduation if somebody approaches you?
Okay. A 90-day roadmap, honestly, that's something that I would love to answer with a lot of precision. But because we don't have, like, if I keep talking about that, I think आधा घंटा ऐसे ही हो जाएगा. So I'm gonna keep it short and I'll explain it to you in brief. So before applying, the first two, three things that I would want you to work with is definitely one, your LinkedIn account. That's the first thing that you're going to work with. The second thing is going to be your resume. Do not forget making it ATS friendly, basically in a way that ATS can easily parse it. Okay, and like I mentioned, कि ATS friendly करना is not that tough also. It is very easy. दो चार चीजें उनको दिमाग में रखो. Make it, spend at least 2 to 3 days working on your resume. Third thing is, third thing is, make a list of all the target roles and target companies that you're actually, you're actually willing to get into, है ना. अब ये काम करने में आपको आई थिंक 1 वीक लग सकता है, 2 दिन लग सकते हैं, 4 दिन लग सकते हैं, डिपेंडिंग ऑन योर willingness to actually do it, actually complete it. तो इसको टाइम लग सकता है, इसमें आपको रिसर्च करनी है. ठीक है, कि कौन कौन सी कंपनीज मुझे पसंद है, कौन कौन से रोल्स मुझे पसंद है, कौन सी कंपनीज का वर्क कल्चर कैसा है, कौन सी कंपनीज कैसे जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शंस बनाती हैं, व्हाट आर द काइंड ऑफ एम्प्लॉयज दे आर एक्चुअली विलिंग टू एम्प्लॉय. And then you're going to go to YouTube, you're going to go to Google, you're going to go to different platforms like Coursera as well. Use that platform. In सब platforms पे जाओ and actually look at relevant certifications and courses जो कि आपको इस इन सब जॉब्स में लेके जाना चाहिए, है ना. जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल कोई डेटा एनालिटिक्स का रोल है, या इसके लिए कोई एआई का रोल है, उसमें प्रॉम्प्ट इंजीनियरिंग, एआई डेटा एनालिटिक्स, कौन कौन से ऐसे कोर्सेज हैं, एआई एमएल, ये सारे कोर्सेज को आप करेंगे एंड देन यू गोइंग टू टेक आउट देयर सर्टिफिकेशंस. उन सर्टिफिकेशंस को यू विल पुट ऑन योर रेज्यूमे. सो दिस एंटायर थिंग इज गोइंग टू टेक 15 to 1 month, 15 days to 1 month. है ना, ज्यादा भी लग सकता है क्योंकि बहुत बार रिसर्च में बहुत टाइम लग जाता है. तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उनमें से जो भी रेलेवेंट वाले हैं वो रेज्यूमे में. That's one thing. You can keep that in mind. उसके बाद when we move on to after a month or something, you start applying to universities, sorry, you start applying to jobs in companies. अब उसका क्या रहेगा अपना कि हर एक रेज्यूमे को आप मॉडिफाई करोगे डिपेंडिंग ऑन द जॉब डिस्क्रिप्शन जो उन्होंने डाला हुआ है. आई थिंक व्हाट कैंडिडेट्स डू इज कि एक रेज्यूमे बनाते हैं 1-2 हफ्ते तक, 3 हफ्ते तक, और उसको सब जॉब्स पे अप्लाई कर देते हैं. डोंट डू दैट. majority of the times you will get rejected if you do that. The only way out is कि आप ना पहले जेडी अच्छे से पढ़ो. If you want, use ChatGPT or any other model. Ask it what are the keywords that are missing. There are applications on Google and Safari that you will easily get, जो आपको ATS parsing करके बताते हैं. JD पेस्ट करो अपना, रेज्यूमे पेस्ट करो, एंड इट विल टेल यू कि कौन कौन से कीवर्ड्स मिसिंग है, और उन कीवर्ड्स को इम्प्लीमेंट सटली in your entire resume. That's it. It is one of the easiest things that you can do. And that's how you actually modify your resume, for every single job that you're applying to. And if you follow these steps, I think 70% you will get employed, you will get a job in the coming 3-4 months. Easy.
Great. That's a good roadmap. And that was kind of my last question also, but I think you have answered it so beautifully that I really don't need to ask it. So I'd rather end it on a one-liner sort of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So if you had to tell me one skill every fresher must learn in 2026,
Communication.
resume or LinkedIn?
I think resume if you are applying for jobs actively, and LinkedIn if you want to build like a good digital presence, but both of them are non-negotiables.
Of course, AI, threat or opportunity?
Opportunity if you are willing to adapt with it.
Of course. Higher studies or first job?
First jobs unless higher studies are something that you have on your list ever since you were a child or anything like that, but you should definitely get some experience before getting those degrees.
Of course. One hiring myth you'd like to bust.
One hiring myth. That is GPA, CGPA, and CGPA and universities. The name of the universities are pretty relevant in the hiring procedure. No, they are not.
One interview mistake students should never make.
Like I mentioned, never bluff in the interview, never ever do that. Always accept if you don't know certain things, and even if they're saying that you're wrong, just accept it, say sorry, and move on.
I think that's the best thing to do. One habit that guarantees career growth.
One habit. Consistency.
I swear this was the answer in my mind also.
Consistency is key. If you are applying on a regular basis, if you are being consistent with your work, if you are being honest with your work, if you're being honest with your own self, then there's absolutely nothing which is going to stop you from getting good, getting like a good job.
Truth, truthfully said. My last question would be one piece of advice you wish someone had given you when you graduated.
I think when I graduated, that would be if they would have told me the importance of resumes, the importance of LinkedIn, the importance of having a digital presence, that is something that I would have actually cherished. The sole reason behind why I created my page was this, because I actually wanted to educate people on the importance of digital presence and on the importance of building a resume that stands out. So yeah.
Great. Nicely answered. With that, we come to the conclusion. So, I'd like to thank you, Tamanna, for sharing such insightful perspectives and practical advices. I'm sure everyone who has joined us today has realized that succeeding in today's job market is no longer just about having a fancy degree. It's about continuously learning, adapting, showcasing your skills effectively.
Very
And
true.
for everyone's watching, I'd like to leave you with final few thoughts. Your career does not begin on the day you receive your first offer letter. It begins the day you decide to invest in yourself and keep learning beyond your college curriculum. Build projects that demonstrate your skills. Stay curious about new technologies. I think that takes anybody a long road ahead than any other person. Network
Very,
with professionals, seek internships, and never underestimate the power of consistent efforts.
very true, very true. I
Tamanna,
think
anything would you'd like to add?
that keep working on your soft skills as well. As important as, as important your digital and your technical, your all these skills are, on the very same scale your soft skills are also very important. For example, आपको आता बहुत कुछ है, बट अगर आप सामने वाले तक उसको पहुंचा ही नहीं पा रहे हो, that's something that's going to make you lag behind in the entire race. क्योंकि मुझे आता सब है, बट मैं अगर अपने एम्प्लॉय को, अपने कलीग को, अपने एम्प्लॉयर को, अपने इंटरव्यूअर को, किसी को वो चीज़ कन्वे ही नहीं कर पाऊंगी, तो आई थिंक वो मेरे लिए एक बहुत बड़ा ड्रॉबैक है. Always work on your communication. Always. You should know how to communicate what you're thinking. You should, honestly, not in English, it can be in any language, in whatever language you like. That's one thing that you should work on being adaptable enough. अगर कोई चीज़ आपको नहीं आती है, go to YouTube, learn about it. Go to any platform, learn about it. I'm not saying take certification, learn about it. कुछ नहीं आ रहा है उसको खुद सीख कर implement करोगे is way better than running behind people and asking for help in your office, because that's not how it works. फिर 10 बातें होंगी and then you're going to come off as somebody who does not know how to manage apparently. And so soft skills पे please work. Third is networking. Work on networking. जितने लोगों से बात कर सकते हो बात करो. फालतू बातें भी करनी है तो करो, डज नॉट रियली मैटर, बट कीप नेटवर्किंग, मेक योर नेटवर्क्स, बिकॉज नेटवर्क्स अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम get you way more projects than you could have ever imagined. So that's also one thing. And fourth is, if you are freelancing, this is something that I wanted to talk about. If you are a freelancer and if you're freelancing, build a portfolio, but a digital presence for you is the most important. Because I'm gonna tell you, आप कौन से कोने में बैठकर काम कर रहे हो, nobody, I'm gonna be very honest and raw with this one. आप कौन से कोने में बैठकर काम कर रहे हो, किसी को सपना नहीं आएगा that you are particularly freelancing and doing this work. उनको पता कैसे चलेगा? If you start coming to their feeds, if you start letting them know कि भाई this is something that I'm doing, okay, start doing that. That's why I'm precisely talking about the importance of this is because of that, because I think 30% of the population right now is freelancing. 30+% of the population. तो ये इनमें से सिर्फ 10% या 5% ऐसे हैं जो हमको दिखते हैं और जिनके पास क्लाइंट्स हैं. बाकी लोगों के पास क्लाइंट्स नहीं, उनको खुद से आउटरीच करनी पड़ रही है कि आप हमको, आई वॉन्ट टू वर्क फॉर यू, आई वॉन्ट टू वर्क फॉर यू. इफ यू हैव अ गुड डिजिटल ब्लूप्रिंट, इफ यू हैव लाइक अ गुड डिजिटल प्रेजेंस, these people are going to come on their own to you. They're going to approach you on their own. So keep that in mind. And I am telling you this from my own experience, from my students' experience. So keep that in mind.
Thank you. Thank you for such a strong advice. I think it was really needed.
Yeah.
So, on behalf of JobHub, thank you once again, Tamanna, for joining us today.
Thanks a lot for having
And
me.
thank you. And we hope this session has given everyone valuable insights, practical strategies, and the confidence that need to take the next step forward for building a successful career. We wish you all the best in your professional journey. Stay curious and keep learning.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye bye. Thank you for having me.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye bye. Thank you, Vanchika. Bye bye.